Well, we've been detailing for you on this program the surge of illegals across our southern border, mainly from Mexico into Texas. They have then, from Texas, because Texas is overwhelmed, they've been flown all across the country. One community out in California being told by the government, you got to absorb all these people into your general population. They're as mad as hell. They're not going to take it anymore. Look at this. USA! USA! Okay, that's Murrieta, California, where 140 illegals were in a caravan of buses that were stopped by people from the community who just haven't gotten enough hard answers from the feds to know what those people, where they're going to go, and whether or not they're healthy, and whether or not they've got criminal records.
Right. Alan Long, their mayor, actually urging citizens along the way to get there and voice their distaste for what's going on and say, we're not going to take it anymore. We don't have the facilities. We don't have the means to be dealing with this situation right now. And here are some citizens voicing their concern.
My concern is for our communities here, the cluster of communities that live in this area. You're looking at homeowner insurance going up, automobile insurance going up. Insurance are going to go up tremendously. I've seen it happen before.
And I think we see here the lack of federal resources and lack of planning spilling down into local communities like this community here saying, listen, we don't have shower facilities. We don't have long-term residential facilities. How can you bring hundreds or thousands of these illegal women and children have serious medical issues to this community without providing this community the appropriate resources? That protest also stemmed a counter-protest by some people who are saying, we're for the illegals, we're for the immigrants. Now, big debate in this country. Kirsten Powers, here on the Fox News Channel, says there's nothing wrong with the immigration crisis, and like Nancy Pelosi, she may see it as an opportunity.
As we're talking about how terrible it is, as the president's saying, and you're saying how terrible it is for these kids to make the trip by themselves into another country. Now you're just going to throw them on a bus and just send them off. He wants to send a message that the trip isn't worthwhile. To their dangerous countries, to where they probably don't even have family, which is probably part of the reason they came here in the first place. I support amnesty, and I don't know why you say amnesty is not fair. I don't know what's not fair about it.
Well, you know, so Kirsten supports amnesty, and she just calls it amnesty on its face. There are millions of Americans who, you look at those pictures, and you were talking earlier about how your heart breaks for these people trying to, the little kids who come to this place in hopes of a better life. We get that. The problem is, unless you secure our borders with Mexico in particular, okay, we've got 10, 11 million illegals now. You legalize the people here, but you don't do anything about the southern border. What's to keep 50 million people from streaming across in coming years?
Yeah, this is a security issue. It's a health issue. It's a major crisis. Alan Long, the mayor of that town, Murrieta, is going to join us in just a few minutes at 7:15 with a close view of what's actually happening right there.
And the issue becomes, will the White House want a solution, or they rather have the issue as a political wedge against the Republicans? That becomes the issue again and again. And now it's becoming an issue. Again, the president seems to be against everyone else, continuing to use his ability, so he says, to use executive orders to get what he wants done, even if Congress won't do it. Watch this.
Middle-class families can't wait for Republicans in Congress to do stuff. So sue me. As long as they're doing nothing, I'm not going to apologize for trying to do something. So far this year, Republicans in Congress have blocked or voted down every serious idea to strengthen the middle class. Not ideas that are unique to me. Republicans have said no to raising the minimum wage. They've said no to fair pay. They've said no to extending unemployment insurance for over 3 million Americans looking for a new job.
Okay, so there you got the President of the United States standing on the key bridge that extends from Georgetown across the Potomac into Virginia. He was talking about how Congress hasn't done anything to go ahead and forward the Highway Trust Fund to build more highways and stuff like that, and extending the gas tax and all of those items that are together. And he was taking a shot at Republicans, but at the same time, he's been having a really, really rough couple of weeks. I mean, the U.S. Supreme Court has come out with 4 decisions saying essentially that there have been dramatic overreaches by the federal government. And now going forward, and there you can see the Key Bridge in the background, the president is essentially taunting the Republicans and maybe even taunting the Supreme Court. I'm going to do what I think is right.
Yeah, you might be right about that, Steve. You know, first of all, it seems like an out-of-control administration here when dealing with the border, saying, well, I can't believe nothing's been done. It's been 5.5 years, and now this is happening, and you're throwing your hands up. But Press Secretary Josh Earnest actually said yesterday, after being asked whether or not President Obama would take executive actions over the decision regarding Hobby Lobby, as the Supreme Court actually ruled in favor of religious freedom. And he said this: we'll consider whether or not there's some opportunity for the president to take some sort of action that would mitigate this decision. Now, you can splice that sentence all you want, but that sounds like another forecast for overreach.
Action versus taunts.
There you go.
Okay.